Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and there's been a lot going on with Spider-Man, right? It's coming. It's coming in like less than 4 months, right? We just got the second official trailer today. That trailer very much feels like it gave away every plot point of the movie, which sucks a little bit because it's an awesome trailer. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm like, come on, just you don't need to finish me off. Just keep me hard for it. That's all you got to do. That's it. That's all I require. And that's been actually a pretty big complaint about movie trailers in general. But then again, at the same time, a lot of people out there actually like trailers to do that because they like to know the plot points. So then they can basically know the movie before they go in to see it. It's a weird thing, but that's sadly a lot of what goes on. However, on the subject of Spider-Man and Venom and Silver Sable and Black Cat, there's been a lot going on in terms of what Sony plans on doing with their Marvel Cinematic Universe. How connected is it to the actual MCU? Is it going to run parallel, very similar to the ABC shows and the Netflix series? Like, what is it all about? And we don't know. All we can do is speculate. But today we got a little bit of information from Amy Pascal herself, which definitely throws a wrench in the fucking works. And this, my friends, I'm not lying when I say this, nor am I being hyperbolic. This could destroy what they're trying to do. Hands down, destroy what they're trying to do. So here's what Amy Pascal says. One of the things I think that is so amazing about this experience is that you don't have studios deciding to work together to make a film very often. In fact, it may never happen again after we do the sequel. Let's just unpack that real quick. The reason why Sony and Marvel are working together on Spider-Man is because of the Sony hack from 2014, where email leaks revealed that Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal had discussed the possibility of bringing Spider-Man over to the MCU because they didn't feel that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 lived up to the potential that they had envisioned for it. That's something I'll still always argue on, but whatever. And the fact that they had also wanted to expand off into their own little thing with that film, it all kind of came crumbling down. So they didn't know what to do. And the thing is, Sony has to make movies of Spider-Man. If they don't, they lose the rights. It goes back to Marvel. Why do you think Daredevil went from 20th Century Fox back to Marvel? They chose not to re-up it, and Marvel took it back and was like, well, we're going to put this shit on Netflix, motherfucker. And they did a great goddamn job. But the second part of that, though, is it may never happen again after we do the sequel. Now, what we know about Spider-Man is that Peter Parker will be in the MCU for Spider-Man Homecoming, Avengers Infinity War, Part 1 and Part 2, and Spider-Man 2, Homecoming 2, whatever. We don't know what they're going to call it. They're probably going to call it like Web Slinger or something like that. I got no idea. But after that, then their contract expires, and then he's going to be on his own, which might be one of the reasons why Sony is hell-bent on developing the other ancillary franchises before that contract runs out. Because keep in mind, we're talking at least 4 or 5 years before the sequel comes out to Spider-Man Homecoming, or we get all the way through everything. And maybe 3-4 years. Okay, if I'm being fair, it's 2017 Homecoming, 2018 Avengers Infinity War, 2019 will be Spider-Man Homecoming 2, as well as Avengers Infinity War Part 2. And okay, so we're talking, all right, fine. We're talking 2 years. My bad. 2 years. So you got a couple years left on this thing. Sony's going to make a lot of money. Definitely going to make a lot of money on this. And they want to definitely find a way to keep all the money and not split anything with Disney. Although when it comes to Spider-Man Homecoming, as far as I know, Disney isn't keeping any of the money in that deal, right? This is basically all merchandising issue here. Sony had to sell back Spider-Man's merchandising rights to Marvel a couple of years ago because they were hurting so bad. And they are still, to this day, very much hurting. This deal is the best deal they could make to better their company. And it's everyone who follows the industry, I think, knows it at this point. But here's what she goes on to say. Because Sony and Disney and Marvel all decided that the right thing to do was to allow Peter Parker and Spider-Man to be in the MCU, and to work with the Marvel guys and have them produce this film. And I think it was a very rare thing for three companies to do, and a very brilliant thing for them to decide to do, because there are only so many stories that you can tell again and again and again about Spidey. And this is something that we would have never been able to do any other way. So it was a selfless thing that was very smart on the part of all companies. I love how she acts that we don't read the fucking trades. And here's the thing. I don't think anyone in the fucking movie biz, the movie blogger biz or whatever, is gonna fucking call her out on this either. To be fair, I don't think so. Right? Because let's look at this here. Amy Pascal was basically shit canned from Sony after the hack. Right? The emails came out, all that shit about Obama came out that she had said. It was done. She knew she was done. Heads were going to roll for this thing, even if even if it wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be. So what'd she do? She brokered a deal for Spider-Man to work within the MCU on her way out the door. She started up her own production company that will be handling the Spider-Man franchise for Sony, and she was going to run that whole thing and work with Marvel. Now, as I said in the Venom video, as I said in the Silver Sable video, I view what Amy Pascal is doing, trying to expand upon the MCU in a parallel sense, is buy her way back in. Tom Rothman is not going to be in charge of Sony for long. He's not. He's just not. All right. Right now he's trying to fix a lot of Amy Pascal's messes. Ghostbusters was one of them, and everything else. And he's trying to get this company back on track. But I don't think he's going to do it. He fucked up Fox to the point of where people know him from Fox and hate him for what he did during his reign at 20th Century Fox. Case in point, killing off Deadpool. Other case in point, making Live Free or Die Hard PG-13. Tom Rothman is not good for Hollywood. Period. But Amy Pascal wants her way back in. She wants to buy her way back in. So I think this whole situation is her trying to build the MCU, her version of the MCU, Sony's MCU, around Spider-Man while he is connected. And then once that's over with, at least she's hoping, by the way, that there will be enough popularity based on Venom and Silver Sable and Black Cat that they'll be able to basically splinter that off into their own thing. They'll be able to splinter that off into a successful franchise on their own. Not going to happen. Not going to fucking happen. Because here's the thing. The reason why Spider-Man Homecoming is going to do as well as it's going to do is because of the guidance and tutelage of Marvel Studios, of Kevin Feige, of them coming in and bringing their well-oiled, finely tuned machine to the process and banging out Spider-Man. And as soon as that goes away, and it goes back to the same idiotic people that mishandled The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 films I will fully admit I enjoyed the shit out of. But in retrospect, in a lot of ways, fans didn't like it, and they were mishandled, I think, for trying to bite off more than they could chew in the second one, at least. It's only going to go downhill. But Amy wants her way back in. So this is her shot. This is seriously her shot. And I have a feeling that if those sequels tank, if Venom tanks, if Black Cat and Silver Sable tank, whatever else they got coming down the pipeline tanks, Sony's not going to want to invest money into this anymore. But they will, because they don't want to lose it to Marvel. Although Marvel could come in at one point in time and offer them like $1 billion and say, look, we'll give you $1 billion for Spider-Man. And they would probably do it. Because if they sold off the merchandising rights, which, why do you think fucking Marvel shills Spider-Man constantly? Because of that. They might do it for the rights to the franchise back if Sony fails. So ultimately it boils down to this. Kevin Feige knows that Spider-Man will be a big boom to the MCU in terms of dollars and popularity in his films, the ones where Spider-Man's going to be allowed to be in. And Sony knows that the popularity of the MCU and Spider-Man's popularity will boost those dollars. But I think Kevin Feige knows they've got the plan going all the way to like 2032, I think, or 2028 or some shit like that. They've got movies planned. So he's good. He's fine. But Sony is not thinking that far ahead. Sony is going to do exactly what DC is doing, where they're going to try so hard. they're better footed at this right now than DC is because of their connection to Marvel. But that's not a partnership they should let go. Is it going to be let go? Probably not. I have a feeling like the 11th hour is going to come in and save the day. But that's, again, to even kind of like threaten that. Because it's not like her saying, in fact, it may never happen again after we do the sequel. That's a fucking threat. In no way is that like a statement of what's going to happen. That's a fucking threat right there. And it's one that fans should definitely hold their feet to the fire over. Because it's like, no, look, you don't want to leave Marvel. If you want money, they want money. We want these characters together. This is what you have to do. You all will profit. Stop being greedy. And that's what I think it is for Amy Pascal. I think it's pure greed. I think it's greed and it's ambition, and it's going to destroy Spider-Man for a third goddamn time. But those are just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments below. Very curious to know what you guys think. My name is Matt Jarbo. This, of course, has been 3 Buck Theater. And yeah, so thumbs up the video, comment below, share it around. Get your friends in on the conversation. Let's talk about this. And subscribe. That's the other thing, too. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you all later. Have yourself a fantastic day. Peace out.